William, I am a bit concerned about the ongoing ethnic violence in the state of Manipur, India. Thomas, it's absolutely preposterous. We're cats. Splendid.
But it was in fact not splendid for Blackulus, for he had been given the task to debate the topic with a woman who would turn out to be his worst enemy yet, and also his future lover.
So yeah, that's how that happened. Now if you have watched the video prior to this one, you will know that I got rejected from 3 college societies and kicked out of 1. And that all happened cause of this bitch. Now to explain it in wider terms, I have to rewind back to about 1 week prior to when I saw the passed out girls in the car and decided to mass apply to college societies. There was a debating event that I had taken a part in. It wasn't a big event and I only participated cause it was happening in the campus when I didn't have any classes to go to. And it wasn't really a formal event either, it was just a bunch of senior students giving prompts and 2 students had to come up and argue for or against it. And my topic was, and I must say this is a topic designed to test your abilities in debate only. But my topic was, India should shadow the events happening in Manipur for the sake of global image. I was given the prompt to speak for it, I didn't choose it, it was just given to me. And the format of the debate was that another student would speak against that topic and we would both argue in front of the student body who would then decide who wins. Now, guess who was speaking against the topic? Yups, it was this bitch. Now, let me tell you a bit about myself. I am not someone who is great at debating nor I am someone who argues a lot. In fact, I have a very bad habit of just agreeing with everything. All my comebacks more often than not, start up like the, yes, and, improvs. But I do come up with great stuff on the spot. It doesn't happen every time, but sometimes I say things without thinking at all which miraculously leads to a whole barrage of thoughts flooding my mind which all connects beautifully into a wonderful idea. I am not gonna go into details about how I won the debate, but let's just say I without thinking uttered the word sacrifice, which led to me doubling and tripling down on a very polarizing view which in turn led to some vocal audience emotionally connecting with patriotic sentiments. All in all, I was praised, largely by the audience not the judges, and the girl in question lost horribly. I might have also acted very condescendingly when she tried to twist some of my words and brought out the fricking dictionary for the proper definition and got her booed by the audience when I was proven right. It wasn't a big audience though. It was like 10 men. Anyways, that stuff happened, and I forgot about it cause ultimately I didn't win. The judges were supposed to only announce the final winner and that was neither me nor her. So I was like, alright, that is just another funny story to tell my friends. Turns out this petty bitch didn't think so. This girl is actually 1 year my senior and apparently very active in her college life, cause out of the 6 societies I applied to, she is in 4 of them. And guess how many societies I didn't get to be a part of? Yups, all 4 of them. And I only found out about that when I got kicked out of a society which my friend was part of. And that motherfucker was also there when this girl brought up the subject to kick me out of the society. She didn't specify me out, the whole upper launches of the society had a meeting cause they wanted to thin out the society cause they had too many members. And this bitch brought up my name, saying I didn't do any work. Which is crazy, cause I wasn't assigned any work in the first place. My friend also told me that he chipped in a good word for me, but this girl brought up a fake scenario where I told her I wouldn't do work if I didn't feel like it, in an interview for another society, and there are just so many things that are wrong with that. Mostly cause I don't have guts to say anything like that. Like, if you put me in any sort of formal thing like an interview, I am a nervous wreck. But ultimately that's not the full reason I got kicked out. See, I have a theory. You know how sometimes you are talking shit with your friend about a certain person and your friends start adding more shit on top of that. I have personally noticed that happening a lot in a mixed gender friend group. Like guys would just add another layer of insults so that ultimately girls end up laughing at their joke. And ultimately your impression of that person is more about the persona created by the jokes at their expense more than it is of the actual person. And I think that's what happened with me. Now you can imagine the rest. I was furious. I was wronged. I was hellbent on revenge. And that's when I realized, there isn't much that a man can do to get some healthy revenge on a woman. Like I can't just randomly annoy her with messages on any social media platform cause women already deal with that. It's crazy, actually. I did ask an actual girl for advice on how to get revenge, and my very first thought was to cowardly annoy her anonymously, and she told me that's just like an average day in a girl's life. Like, did you know that girls block an average of 1 person a day on Insta cause of the creepy message they get? Nothing that I can send online can technically hurt her cause girls are just used to that shit. Except if I sent the message on LinkedIn. That was my initial well-thought-out plan that I had come up with after a night of restless thinking. To offer this girl a fake job, conduct a fake interview and then send her somewhere far away from the city. But that would just be a one-time thing that wouldn't have any long-lasting effects, so I quickly gave up on that. I also went to the supposed masters in my battle against this woman. I joined Hamza and Andrew's Discord. And I must say, all these freaking Sigmas were pretty useless, cause as soon as I said anything about revenge on woman, they just assumed that I have either been dumped by this girl or just had my one-sided crush rejected. Which is a pretty beta conclusion to arrive at for a Sigma community. Frankly, it's a shame that we live in a society where a man can't exact revenge on a woman without people thinking the man had romantic feelings for her. Like, what happened to professional revenge? All the freaking advice I got from people in these Discord and Hamza himself actually, was to just lay low and grind and make money until I am so successful that girl would come up to me herself and then I will have had my revenge. Like, what kind of fantasy is that? Eventually the perfect plan came up to me as most of my miraculous ideas come to my mind. Just on the spot. It was like 3 days after I had started strategizing for my revenge. I was coming back to my college with my friend and like always my friend met up with some of his friends while we were leaving college, so like usual me, my friend and his friends were traveling back from college to each of our separate homes in the metro. And one of those friends was this bitch, who I shall now call T. So as it turns out T lives pretty far away and one by one each friend of my friend drops off on each of their stations and now it's just me and T. And this is how the conversation went. She said,
"Oh, is that a tattoo that you have on your arm?"
I am not tatted. It's one of those temporary pussy black ink drawing. But of course I said, yeah I am.
Diam, don't your parents say anything about it?
And my immediate reply to that was, oh, I don't know. I don't talk to them. Which is true. And then she got a bit of wars and then my mouth moved on my own and I said, yay, after the divorce they just let me be. My parents are not divorced. And immediately after that she said the sweet words, I am sorry. You know, how freaking rare that is. When I actually told my friends, who are not in my college, that I want to get back at this girl from my college, they were freaking scared. They were like, nah man, women be crazy toxic and mean. Now I have had my first one-on-one interaction with her and she was already saying sorry. And with that in one metro ride all the puzzles to my revenge plan came up to my mind. See, this girl, called T. She is a human. She isn't just some bitch who wronged me, she is a human with her own background, moral compass and ethics. And I can take advantage of that. I didn't have much more time on the metro since I parted ways pretty quickly, but as I walked home the plan was near perfect in my mind. And it all had to start with guilt tripping. See, when you make fun of someone, no matter how funny it is or how bad that person is, as long as that person gets registered as a fellow human to your brain, you feel bad for making fun of him. You gotta feel guilty for back bitching about him. You gotta be scared that you fucked with someone whose life is already so fucked up that it might just push him over the edge. And that's how my days of being a shameless sorry fuck started. My second one-on-one interaction with T was just 2 days after, when I was sitting in the cafeteria, alone. And she approached me. And that's when I talked in detail about the messy divorce my parents are having. My father is also threatening to not pay my college fee for some reason. Also how hard it is go through it as an only child. Rip older sister. Also how it feels to have a kidney stone at this young age. And most importantly, also how college societies are the perfect escape from all this stuff in my personal life. That was the nail in the coffin of T's moral compassion. Never before has a girl been more desperate to be my friend. She asked for my Insta, my number, my Twitter, hell we even followed each other on Spotify. And seeing her scrambling to fix her own state of mind by trying to be nice to me, I initiated the second phase to my revenge plan. See, I think I am like 2G. I too have chosen path of shamelessness while being proud of neither myself nor others. So I told her, I wish I could be your teardrops, for what more could anyone ask for than to be conceived in your heart, born in your eyes, live on your cheeks, and die on your lips. In real life, I told her that. Not on messages or anything. 'Cause my stalked friend was in charge of messaging. See, I am someone who hates messaging. In fact, when I had my first girlfriend I had my older sister text as I sometimes relayed what I wanted to say. But in this case I can't really ask my older sister, so I asked my stalked friend, who isn't really my friend by choice, he is just a friend who calls me up a lot and I just answer. So anyways, I put him in charge of messaging, and I noticed that, pity aside, when you are this direct in your approach, girls don't really say no. Especially since I am not actually confessing or anything. I am just appreciating beauty. And with that started the winter season where me and T met up regularly in college and also went out on just friends one-on-one date. Ultimately, I don't know what happened. Either my stalked friend told her something on the messages, but T started putting Insta stories of me and her that looked an awful lot like a couple. Like just the story of us standing with our backs to the camera in a dimly lit settings. I did make sure that the photos were given the aesthetic vibes with no cringe face showing involved, but I had no control over the song chosen or the text's overlay. See, my plan with the second phase was a situationship, but T automatically took it a bit beyond that, or maybe that is just what the situationship is. Anyways, that was a confusing phase, the best part about which was that T paid for all the dates and food stuff cause, you know, my parents are going through divorce, my father is not paying my college fees, and I have a kidney stone. So anyways, events were lining up, so I had to pretty much drag past the second phase of my plan. In that phase my most notable achievement was introducing T to edging. And that was long before it became popular. I was so ahead of the curve with this one, which is great cause now every time T sees an edging joke or meme she shall remember me. Anyways, the big event was coming up, and with it came the final part of my revenge plan. I invited T out to a pretty hip place that we have gone to a lot of time before. But on that day, T noticed that there was a lot of crowd gathered. People were walking around holding banners and playing Taylor Swift on speakers. T turned to me and asked, "What's going on?" I said, "Let's see." And so we went near the crowd, but before that the crowd came to us. And many from that crowd called out to me. 'Cause they knew me. 'Cause in the past months I had interacted with them on such events. And T got confused, and then she asked me, "Why is it like this? Why are they calling out to you like that? Why is that guy so happy to see you?" And then I told her, "Well T, honey, you are very sweet, but unfortunately it could never work. 'Cause this is a gay parade that I am gonna take part in. Your religion isn't very much supportive of that. Also, I am semi-bisexual. I am not." That was on November 26th, I haven't seen her since. I blocked her on social media as soon as she ran away from that gay parade. And by golly, I would love to give some exciting updates afterwards. But for right now, my revenge is complete and your boy is happy.